Scalp edges, I think they're really nice.
Oh, hi.
Is that yours?
Oh, the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are gonna go on YouTube.
Let me put my phone to the side.
Alright.
So what are these shots for?
It's for myself, you know? Just so when I'm like old,
Old
I
and
can
gray.
see what I actually did with my life, you know?
You have done a lot, Bam.
You have done nothing. All your efforts will amount to nothing. That's how I start my morning every day.
That's how what?
That's how I start. That's my pep talk every morning. You will accomplish nothing in life, and everything you do will be meaningless.
That's such a motivating, you know.
That's Ecclesiastes. So you know, it gets me existential. It gets me in an existential mood. I'm looking through my list to see what the next thing is. Right now, I think this happened yesterday, and I wrote this down. Submodalities and voice changing. Okay. So one of the things that I started noticing recently is that submodalities, I learned the concept submodalities with a neuro-linguistic programming seminar. But just right now I've started actually noticing it through my project. So if I had never heard of it, this is where I would have come up with it or discovered it myself. And what it is like, it's like there's the statement of what you believe, but then there's everything else of why you believe it. I'm not even sure how to explain it. Right. So you have a belief. But then the quality of that belief depends on other things. Depends on other aspects. It depends on other factors that surround that belief. For example, if your belief says I'm a man. Let's do one less controversial and more random. If you say I'm a potato, and the potato, and when you say to yourself, when you believe that you're a potato, you think of, I don't know, the color red, and you think of darkness, and you think of small, then you will feel bad about being a potato. But if you say I'm a potato and you believe that you're a potato, and while you're thinking that, while you have that belief, you think of it light, you think of it bright, and you think of it great, then you will feel really good about being a potato. So basically, you have the belief, and then there's the value of the belief that comes separately. And so what I realized in neuro-linguistic programming, this is called submodalities, where you have a belief, and then there's a value that comes from it. So a lot of times when you're trying to change your character, it's not necessarily about changing your belief, because that may or may not involve. If you change a belief, it may involve delusion, self-delusion, and you don't want to go that route. Instead, it's just changing the value of the belief so that you can either feel good or bad about that belief. And so what that says is that you can actually manipulate, you know, without changing your belief or without changing what is true. You can actually manipulate. You can still manipulate your state of mind to control how you feel about that certain belief. So, for example, if something happens, you know, like the death of a loved one, and you feel bad about that, it's not like you have to deny the fact in order to be happy. But if you just get that belief, and you change the factors surrounding it, so that they're more similar to another belief. For example, like a belief that says I'm rich, right? So, or something that you appreciate in life. So let's get two beliefs to make it flow more smoothly. So let's say somebody died, that's a very bad belief, and I'm rich, that's a very good belief. So you want to change the factors surrounding the negative belief into the factors surrounding the positive belief. And right now, what I'm discovering right now is that a lot of the times this is it's sensation, it's kinesthetic, but the kinesthetic also it is also reflected in visual and auditory. So sometimes you have a belief that comes with a certain type of music, and that certain type of music makes you feel a certain way. And if it's a negative belief, then you'll hear this type of music. But if you keep that belief and you change it into positive music, then you'll actually feel good about that belief. So if a loved one dies and you feel bad about that, you can change the factors surrounding it so that you can actually feel good about the loved one dying. So you might be thinking, like, why would I want to feel good about that? But this works a lot like it's not like you're happy that they died, but it's like now you're okay with it. You can relax with that fact, and you're able to let go. So that's why. So that's why a lot of times, like, it's important for you. And I've been figuring this out. Because just out of that principle that I've been working on, that you need to. Right. Gaining familiarity with the emotional world. So that's that. As far as the system in my project, it's awareness. It comes with awareness. And as far as the essence, it comes with let's see, awareness, unknown protocol. Yeah. So as far as the system in my project, that's where awareness comes in. And when you step into, as far as unknown protocol, when you step into an unknown world, the first thing you do is you analyze the factors, and you analyze everything that has an effect, the causes and effects. You become familiar with that world, so that in that way you'll be able to better understand it, and once you understand it better, then you'll be able to better manipulate it. So as far as the skill that, because the first skill that you need to develop as far as the practicality project is self-control. And so, like I said, the rudimentary action, right? The rudimentary action is something that you can explain. Yeah, that's where it comes from. You can't explain it because you need to have the experience first in order to be able to communicate it. In order for you to be able to understand it, so it can be communicated to you. So I've been developing this skill, and I still don't have a handle of how to manipulate those submodalities. I'm using the NLP term here. But the more you learn to manipulate it, and the more familiar you get, and the more self-control you develop, the better you will be able to manipulate these things around the beliefs that you have. I need a testimony of this. So remember that time? Remember that time when we were hanging out?
Was it the time where you shot kids with your air gun?
Oh no. Okay. So all that stuff, right? But then remember that time when I wasn't Crazy Jimmy anymore? You actually, the reason I asked you is because you actually pointed it out. You were like,
I think I kind of did.
It's so weird. You're not Crazy Jimmy anymore. What happened?
Was that when you like found God?
No. The opposite, probably. You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
That's really important.
Okay, wait, but what's your question about it?
Huh?
But what's your question about
Just remember that.
it? I don't remember.
Oh my goodness.
First
nobody
of all,
has
I
a
don't
record
remember
of
a
that.
lot of things. Just
I
tell me.
remember when you were.
Okay. Yeah, but I've talked to you about it, and Silver actually commented on it before I even told him. So that's why his testimony would have been valuable, because he noticed me, and he noticed something was wrong, something was off. Anyways.
Well, I mean, I've always noticed that.
No. But something was off than
Than
other than
usual.
usual. Yeah. my usual offness, because I'm always off, but I was on this time, so
Yeah,
I was
you were
basically the opposite. But anyway, I was in that stage for 5 years, from like 2011 to 2016.
Were you on? What kind of drugs were you doing?
I wasn't.
You weren't?
No, I was just. When I got it back, I did drugs. That's how I got it back. Not really, but anyways. So my friend gave me Ritalin. Was it Ritalin? No, Adderall. I don't know.
He gave you Adderall?
Yeah.
Isn't that not good for you?
It's for kids that don't have energy, or like ADHD kids. It's like medication.
I don't think I have energy.
Yeah. So I took one pill, and then so this was in 2016, and like for 5 years I was like normal. I would actually think about my, like during those 5 years I would actually think about my life, and I would be okay with not accomplishing anything in life, with just like having a 9-to-5 job. And
Hey, that's me right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like that for 5 years. I don't
Is
know.
it a 5-year thing?
No, well, the only reason I got in it was because I was kind of like oppressed during college, which kind of forced me into that little mode. And what got me out of it was like I tried Adderall, and it gave me energy, and then I had this feeling in my chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, what is this feeling? This feels very familiar. Like, what is it? And then I remembered, holy crap, this is the feeling I always used to have before college, like all the time. Anyway, so I had that feeling, right? Because it hyped me up. And then like 3 hours went by, and then 8 hours went by, and I still had that feeling. I was like, and then 2 days went by, and I still had that feeling, right? Like kind of like anxious and like wanting to do something. And so then I called my friend, and I was like, that pill that you gave me, how long is it supposed to last? Like, I don't know, like 4 hours, like max. I don't know, like 8 hours max. That's pushing it. That's not even a lot, or that's already too much. And she was like, well, I have this feeling, and it's been 2 days now, and I still have this feeling. It's like, oh, well, that's just you then. And it was on that day that I got my craziness back.
That's funny.
Yeah. But for 5 years, I would like not care about anything, which was weird. And during that time, like I knew it was gonna come back, but when it came back, I set myself to kind of like hone the energy and make something productive out of it, instead of just
gotta hone.
Being crazy.
Sometimes life is just about being crazy, though.
YOLO.
You gotta be crazy to make stuff happen.
Exactly,
Nah.
exactly. But if you're just crazy, then you're just like yapping around like a chihuahua. So that's why you gotta hone it into something.
True, but
For something to happen.
at least you'll think you rule the world.
I don't want to be that. A chihuahua that thinks he rules the world.
Jimmy
I don't
the
like
Chihuahua.
chihuahuas.
Jimmy the Chihuahua that rules the world.